Coming up, Majority Leader and Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell says he's running again. We'll have more on his announcement. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos stopped in Kentucky yesterday to talk about school choice. We will have more on what she had to say. And one of the divers who helped to rescue a stranded team of Thai soccer players last year had to be rescued himself.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Taylor Upchurch. Today is Thursday, April 18th. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Brandon, you've got some good news for folks today. It sounds like it's going to be amazing once again.
Leave those umbrellas behind for the most part. Again, we're tracking just a couple of stray showers, maybe down near the Kentucky-Virginia border this morning. Let's take a look there at the satellite and radar for the last 6 hours. And again, not a whole lot of cloud cover, so I don't think there's a whole lot of moisture going on down that way. But you see a little bit of green trying to pop up in some places, especially near the borders there with Kentucky and Virginia and Kentucky and West Virginia. It's a little clearer on live pinpoint Doppler radar, especially in southwest Virginia there, but we'll keep an eye on it and keep you posted. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s this morning, very close to 70. Prestonsburg and Logan, Pikeville as well, down toward Williamsburg. The wind continuing to pick up in coverage out to the west there, and we're going to continue to see that as we head through the daytime hours. Speaking of which, 12-hour planner takes us up into the 80s today, but increases our clouds later on ahead of that cold front. Rest of the forecast on the way here in just a few minutes. Taylor.
All right, Brandon, thank you. A big tax break for wealthy Americans could be the break struggling communities need. But as Washington correspondent Kyle Madura explains, skeptics worry the plan only amounts to a handout to the rich, not a handout to the poor.
Hundreds of millions of dollars are already set aside, ready to be injected into about 9,000 struggling communities across the country. White House spokespeople expect that figure to exceed $100 billion in the near future.
We can already see in the data that there's kind of a race to help the most disadvantaged people in America.
A recent change to the country's tax law allows those who cash in by selling stock or property to slash their tax bill. The catch? They need to reinvest their profits into businesses and properties in areas singled out for an economic pick-me-up. Investors only get the full tax break if they keep that cash in the community for 10 years.
You're going to be creating jobs and opportunities for people to gain the kinds of skills that will allow them to escape dependency.
The White House still needs to iron out the fine print over the rules and regulations surrounding opportunity zones. But critics say it's already clear. The idea is fundamentally flawed.
The overall effects of these programs have been very limited.
University of Albany professor Timothy Weaver argues developers don't need a financial assist in places like New York City or anywhere else where investment is already on the rise. He says historically investors use incentives like these to chase profits, not invest in community-centered projects like low-income housing.
It's not going to be the kind of thing that's going to help poor people in poor neighborhoods.
Hundreds of communities across the country want to give it a shot, though, with locals making a trip to the White House Wednesday to learn more about selling themselves to big investors. In Washington, Kyle Madura, WYMT Mountain News.
State officials have designated 143 opportunity zones in Kentucky. And while at the announcement of the Clay County facility we told you about at 5, we talked with Senate President Robert Stivers about Governor Bevin's plan to call a special session.
I understand the governor is having meetings with individuals today to see what they want to formulate in the way of a bill draft. But beyond that, that's all we know at this point in time. We don't have a lot to say about it because by Constitution, it is purely a gubernatorial prerogative.
Senator Stivers went on to say he knows something has to be done before July 1st when some agencies will have to pay 87% payment on their payroll, saying there's a certain sense of urgency to get it figured out. And more than 1 million Kentuckians have used GoVoteKY.com to register to vote or update their registrations. If you still need to register or make an update time is running out before next month's election. You can also check your voting location and look at sample ballots on GoVoteKY.com. Kentucky's May 21st primary election is for governor, attorney general, secretary of state, and other statewide offices. The deadline to register is Monday. It's official. Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky is running for another term. This would be his 7th term for the 77-year-old Senate Majority Leader. At this point, no other Republicans are challenging McConnell for the seat. The only Democrat who has announced a candidacy is activist Stephen Cox. In his last election, McConnell beat Secretary of State Allison Grimes to win his 6th term in office. McConnell was also recently named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos was in Kentucky yesterday. DeVos and Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin held a roundtable discussion on school choice in Lexington. The two talked about an issue with a panel of education organizations and community leaders, as well as a current student and her mother. One proposed program is called Education Freedom Scholarships. It would set up a federal tax credit for donations to the program. A similar scholarship tax credit bill was proposed in Kentucky this year, but lawmakers did not pass it.
Well, the reality is it actually meets the needs of kids who don't fit in where they've been assigned.
From Lexington, Governor Bevin and Secretary DeVos traveled to Marshall County High School, where they presented a federal schools emergency response to violence grant as that community continues to recover from last year's shooting. An arrest was made in connection with the Perry County shooting. The sheriff, Joe Engel, says they arrested James Reed III yesterday. Police believe he shot Brian Smith several times Friday night. Police found him along some train tracks in the Christopher community. He's expected to survive. They charged him with first-degree assault. And 2 people are behind bars this morning in Laurel County, accused of giving an underage child alcohol and marijuana. Deputies say they were trying to find the missing juvenile when the search led them to Little County Road. There they found 38-year-old William James Francis and 26-year-old Joy Collins. We're told the pair were with the child and had provided them with the substances. They both are charged with unlawful transaction with a minor. A British cave diver who was part of a major 2018 rescue operation had to be rescued himself. Josh Bratchley disappeared in a Tennessee cave Tuesday. He and 4 other experienced divers were exploring a cave. When the group came out, they realized Bratchley was missing. Bratchley was among the divers involved in last year's rescue of 12 schoolboys and their soccer coach in a flooded cave in Thailand. He's expected to be okay. Wednesday marked the 6-year anniversary of the deadly explosion at a Texas fertilizer plant. The blast devastated the small town of West, about 70 miles south of Dallas, killing 15 people, including volunteer first responders. 200 people in the area were hurt after some 30 tons of ammonium nitrate exploded. Investigators with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives determined someone started the fire on purpose. No arrests have been made. The University of Kentucky is teaming up with one of Kentucky's largest bourbon makers to educate the next generation of distillers. Jim Beam is donating $5 million to create the James B. Beam Institute for Kentucky Spirits. The institute will build on the success of UK's existing certificate program in distillation, wine, and brewing studies, which the university began offering in 2014. Institute Director Seth DeBolt says Beam's gift will support Kentucky's booming bourbon industry with research and education for decades to come.
The future is really bright for Kentucky bourbon, and we hope to partner to give young Kentucky students who want a job in the industry and to stay in Kentucky those opportunities.
The $5 million donation is parent company Beam Suntory's largest philanthropic or educational gift in the company's history. Pike County natives are working to revitalize what was once a family-friendly staple in the community. New ownership means changes are underway at East Kentucky Marina on Fish Trap Lake. The new owners say they're planning some big changes, including a water park and a more accessible environment. These updates are part of a $1 million investment in the first year.
We're just excited mainly to get the community involved and get them back up here and utilize the area. I mean, it's been underutilized for so many years, and to be able to open a great marina and to bring a water park and everything like that to the area, that gets me excited.
She said they're excited about the support they've received from community members. Staff and students at the Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College in Cumberland started a project to help fill needs of students outside of the classroom. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to students about their new care closet.
Students and staff at the Cumberland campus Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College say they got together as they saw situational need in their school.
We teach them academically, but they also need help inside and outside the classroom.
Trying to alleviate issues they say they see on a daily basis.
And we decided, hey, we're going to get some donations. We're going to make this dark room that was just sitting here, and we're going to turn it into a care closet.
Whether that be someone forgot their lunch or filling a need at home. At first it started small.
It was kind of going to be just a little place for people to just go grab what they need.
But then donations from faculty and students grew the care closet into a much bigger project, including professional clothing donations for students to use for interviews.
It's not just for people that have low income or have no money. This is for people that forget things, people that need things. We need things every day of our life.
Campus staff said they hope that through the care closet, they can continue to help their students succeed.
We're hoping that not only do we draw from our faculty and staff and students, but maybe churches and community. We'd like to see it grow.
Helping take burdens off of students, whatever that may be. In Harlan County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Staff say anyone who wants to start a similar project can contact Kathy Diddy at the Cumberland campus. Coming up, days before the 20th anniversary of the Columbine school shooting, survivors share their stories.
The forecast features more clouds today, but the rain should hold off for the most part until later tonight. I'll break down our rain chances in about 3 minutes.